Deploying and managing Hyper-V and Hyper-V containers. Now, first, what is containers? Now, what is container? First, we have server, we have operating system, we have Server 2016 operating system. We install it on physical machines. Then, for isolating different operating system in a single server, what we do, we create virtual machines. Now, in virtual machines, we install the operating system and then we install applications. So it becomes what? It isolate the operating systems, it isolate the resources for different applications. Now, Microsoft has did try to create the light operating system. That is what it is, core operating system. Core is a light version of Windows Server, where we don't have a graphical interface, but we can manage it from the command line, and it is a lighter version for the Windows Server 2016. This that does not take much resources, hardware resources. Then Microsoft did what? It create a more lighter version of that Windows Server is Nano Server. Nano Server is a more lighter version for the operating system, that is Windows Server operating system, which actually does not have any interface. It does not have command line interface, it does not have graphical interface, only we can manage it from remotely. Now we have containers also. Now containers are also available. These containers are all available in other operating systems, other versions of operating system like Unix based operating system in old days. But now Windows has introduced this into Microsoft. Is Microsoft now introduced into Server 2016 also. So now in Server 2016 we have this container feature also, and we can use this container to create, or we can say, a virtualized operating system. Now when we create a virtual machine, it is actually hardware virtualization, but containers are what? It is like a virtualization of operating system. That means if we want to install some application, let's say for example I want to have an IIS server, web server. So for that I can create, I just need a separate IIS server for the separate process. So what I can do, I can create a separate virtual machine, or I can create a separate container for it. Now container is actually a virtualized operating system, and virtual machine is actually virtualized hardware, where we install the operating system and then we use that to install the applications. So containers are actually more lighter than the virtual machines for doing the isolation of applications. Now this is the containers, we can say we have a repositories. We have repositories where we have the container images for the app images also. Now container images are like this is, as I said, it is a virtualized operating system. So it operating system based on the application. Like for example, I want a web server, so you can get the IIS on Windows Server, like Windows Server Core or Windows Server Nano Server, on IIS. For IIS you can get the Linux containers also, like you can get the .NET server on Apache, you can get the other application on this. So based on the application, the container, the operating system is virtualized. Now it is called container, and all those containers we can get it from the repositories. We have the online repositories where we can download these containers. These containers, which is pre-built containers, are there, which we can use to download it from the internet. So that is called repository, where we can download the container image and application images. Then container images runs on our operating system. where we can have the sandbox environment, we have the app images, container app images. So in container app images, you see the operating system virtualized, like you will see the C windows where we have the operating systems. That is the container image, app image. Then the app image will gives you the application which is under C drive, like we have the applications under the C drive. So it will give you the application, the app image. Sandbox is an empty changes for here. That means if anything changes, like someone uses the application and changes something, so it will be changed, the stores, the changes will be stored into the sandbox of the container. So this is the whole container, we can say. So we download these containers from the repository, and we download the container repository. From the repository we download container app image and app image. Container app image is basically the operating system, virtualized operating system. Then the app image is the real application, the application for which we downloaded the we use this kernel, we use this container. And the changes which someone uses this application and some changes has done, that changes will remain in the sandbox environment, where every changes, the application or the users who's using those application will not have access of the critical or sensitive files of our core system. They can only access the changes. And totally it is called the container. And this is the container. So in the container, what we have the virtualized operating system like C Windows, and in that we install the applications, we create the application. Actually the applications comes with it. Like if suppose I download the container for web server, so it will come as a IIS pre-built, so that we can use that IIS. Now overview of Hyper-V container. Now we can create containers directly in our operating system, or we can create container under the virtualized environment. Under the virtualized environment, for example, we create the virtual machine, and in that virtual machine we use the Server 2016 operating system, and then in that we can create containers. So if we create directly Windows container, that means you are having the host. This is our host, this is the host kernel, that is operating system, our Server 2016. Then on that we have the user mode, where the user shell is there, where the user interacts with it. Now from here user will do what? Users binaries will be there, binaries and libraries to run those applications. Now on that we install the container apps. So this operating containers which is directly installed on Windows, they will be directly installed on the operating system. Now they will be isolated. These applications will be isolated. That means the applications will run as a different virtual machine. So these applications will run like they are running into a different virtual machine, but actually they are running in the same physical machine, which is where they are using the same binaries and libraries which the other container is using, and they are using the same hardware resources. So it is a virtualized operating system. It looks like a virtualized operating system. We can use Ubuntu container, we can use Linux container, we can use Unix container, Windows container, where we can install the applications related to that operating system. So based on the application, we get the container of that operating system. So here the isolation is not that great. The isolation is not that great because they are still using the same library and binaries, still using the same kernel OS, and still using the same hardware resources. But if you want to have a great isolation, that means these container will be definitely or must be separated to each other. We want them to separate each other, then we can use them into virtual machine. Like for one container I will create one virtual machine. Now in that virtual machine I will install the operating system, that is my base image kernel. Then on that we will get the user interface, where we get the users binaries and libraries. and with the help of those binaries and libraries we will download and install the container. So these containers which will be installed on the virtual machines, they will be totally separated. They will use the different binaries libraries, different OS level, kernel level, and also using the different virtualized hardware. So by using this Hyper-V virtualized Hyper-V containers, it actually separate the containers from each other. We can say complete separation. But here directly we install the containers will remain connected because they are using the same binaries and libraries. Now if suppose some hackers get the access of the container applications when they are accessing, for example I am using the container for the web server, I have installed the web application there. Now if some hacker hacks the web application and get the control of it, so it will try to get the other container applications also, because they are using the same binaries and libraries. So they can get the access, they can try some tools, they can try some techniques to get the access of the other container applications. That is why if we want them to be separated completely, then we can use them on Hyper-V. We can use them on Hyper-V virtual machine. That is the only difference of Windows container and Hyper-V container. Otherwise we can use them as like we are using them here on the Windows container. We can configure them, we can use them just like we use here and there. Both are same, just because of the separation they are different. So uses scenario. So some common uses of these Windows containers are like hosting the stateless application and rapid test deployment also. So if suppose that deployment of testing is there and we want to do the testing on the application, then we can just rapidly we can create a container, add the application, and then we can do the deployment. It is very rapidly deployed, and it is for the hosting of those stateless applications where we can use them on containers. This is Windows Server containers. Now Hyper-V containers we use for multiple tenants and single tenant for single virtual machines. Multiple tenants, that means in virtual machines we can have multiple tenants, or we can use a single tenant for the single tenant, that means single container for the single virtual machine also. And that will be independent lifecycle management, because they will be independent to each other because they are separated by the virtual machine. Now the installation requirements. First, if you are planning to have a Windows container, so you have to follow the planning. Like first, Windows container host requirements you have to check, and virtualized container host requirement also you have to check, like if you want to install it on the Hyper-V virtual machine. Then also you have to see the supported scenarios. So for example, we are having the host operating system, that is Windows Server 2016 with full user interface, that is graphical. So on that we can install the server containers like server core images, or in Hyper-V we can go up to nano server image also. Then if we are using server core addition for the host, then again we can go for the server core image of the container directly, or for virtualized environment for Hyper-V we can go for the nano server image. Then for server nano server, in that we can use nano server image for the container, and also nano server container we can use on the Hyper-V also. Then Windows 10 Insider release. Now Windows 10 is also there, where we can use the container but only in the Hyper-V, and in the Hyper-V we can use the nano server image. Now deploying the Windows Server and Hyper-V containers. So first, deploying the Windows Server container. Now to deploy the Windows Server container that is directly on Windows Server, so we can use Nano Server to use the container. Now Nano Server, if we are using, so first we have to create the Nano Server virtual hard disk file for containers, and then we can proceed with the following steps, that is this: install the container feature, then create the virtual switch because the containers will use the virtual switch of Hyper-V, then configure the net if you required. Net, that means if you want to configure the net to connect those virtual switch the containers to the virtual to the internet. Then if you are using it on Hyper-V, then you should enable it the MAC address spoofing also. Then install the container operating system images. Now if we are using the Nano Server deployment like this one, if we are using the Nano Server, then we don't have to prepare these virtualized environment because we have already installed the Nano Server in the Hyper-V. Like when you use the Hyper-V, when we use the Nano Server, so actually we use it on the Hyper-V virtual machine. So we don't have to do this virtual switch, NAT, MAC spoofing because it is already done, and then we have created the Nano Server. So after that we do this, install the container operating system images after it. And even if we do it on Hyper-V container, that is if we want to install it on Hyper-V, that we can also do, create the Nano Server image. Now if we create the Nano Server image, we don't require to do these Nano Server things because these steps not required if we deploy to a Nano Server. These steps like installing the Hyper-V role, enable the nested virtualization, configure the virtual processors, create a virtual switch, configure the networks NAT switch, NAT setting, configure the MAC address spoofing. These things we don't have to do because this thing we have done it because that we have already installed the Nano Server. So because we installed the Nano Server because we have already installed it on Hyper-V. So we don't have to do this. We just have to install the container feature into the virtual machine, and then we just have to install the container operating system images. Then managing the Windows Server Hyper-V container by using the PowerShell. Now remember, for managing the containers we can manage it from the PowerShell. So we can use the PowerShell, or also we have option to manage it from the Docker administrator your containers. So we can administrate the container through the PowerShell or Docker. So typical task we do is creating the containers, starting the containers, connecting to containers, stopping containers, removing containers. Like we create containers, then we start the containers, we connect the containers for configuration, then we install the applications, whatever. Then we can stop the containers if we don't require, and if you don't require, then we can remove the containers. These are the common tasks we do for the containers, and we can do it from the PowerShell or we can do it from the Docker also. Now to install the container feature, we can install it in the features roles and features tab. In this, it's available as a feature, so we can install it from there. So if we want to install this, so how we will install it? Now for installing the container, we need what? Hyper-V role first, because it will be installed as a virtual machine, not virtual machine, but container is actually the virtual application, we can say virtual operating system. So it actually uses the Hyper-V to create or manage the containers. To connect the containers, it uses the virtual switches also. So virtual switches also, and use the virtual Hyper-V binaries to manage the container. So what we need first is to install the Hyper-V role, and then we can install the container also. So first I will do what? I will install the Hyper-V role. I will change this. For virtual hard disk, and for virtual machine. And restart if required, and install. Now it will take a little time to install. Then after that we can install the container role, container feature. So it is restarted now, and let's see, it is has to be installed. Okay, now we can install the container feature. Now container comes as a feature, so we go onto features. This is roles. We go to features and we select. Here we have containers. This provides the service and tools to create and manage Windows Server container and their resources. So we select this and we go on to select next. If restart required, then I will say yes and I will install it. After installing this, you have to restart the system. Now it is started and the container feature is installed. So you can see this container feature is installed now. So this is how we can install the container feature. Now other option, we have to manage, install, configure and manage the containers by using the Docker. Docker makes it easy to manage and configure the containers in Windows also. Now what is Docker? So Docker provides the engine for managing the containers. Like we have the physical servers, like this is the infrastructure, like what the physical machines we have, the hardware. On hardware we have the operating system, and operating system, on that we install the Docker engine. So Docker engine provides the support for managing, controlling and installing the containers. So by the help of the Docker, we can easily manage and update and configure the containers on Windows also. Now Docker support for 2016, Windows Server 2016. So this Docker engine for Windows Server required first Windows Server 2016. It is not available in old versions. and it includes these following key points. First, no cross-platform containerization. There is currently no method to present the appropriate kernel to a container from another platform. In other words, we can say Windows containers requires a Windows Docker host and Linux containers requires a Linux Docker host. So if we are using a Docker for managing the containers, so in the Windows we can only manage the Windows containers. For Linux containers we need Linux Dockers. So by using the Windows Dockers we are not able to manage the Linux containers. Then two ways to manage containers in Windows operating system. You can create and manage Windows containers by using the Docker toolset or PowerShell, Windows PowerShell. However, containers that are created with the Windows PowerShell cannot be managed with the Docker, and containers that are created with the Docker toolset cannot be managed with the PowerShell. Now, Docker toolset is a graphical toolset we have for managing the containers. Then the user scenario for the Dockers. So user scenario, some common user scenario for Docker is like container orchestration. Here, as organization adopt containers, they will discover the challenge of deploying dozens, hundreds of thousands of containers that makes up an app. So tracking and managing deployment requires advanced management and orchestrations that will be provided by the Dockers. Then DevOps for the developers. The Docker platform provides the developers with tools and services that they can use to build and share images, collaborate on developing centralized apps, manage infrastructure for applications. Then microservices. Another benefit of using Docker containers is that they can be individually scaled and updated. And microservices are an approach to app development where every part of an app deploys as a full self-contained component. Installing and configuring Docker. So with Docker you can create containers, remove containers, browse the container hub also. So if we are using the Dockers, so with the Dockers we can do what? We can create containers, we can remove containers, we can browse the Docker hub also for the containers. Now what is the Docker hubs? Docker hub where we have different type of containers. Overview of the management with the Docker. So with the Docker you can do create containers, remove containers, manage containers. You can browse the Docker hub to access and download pre-built images. And in most organizations, the most common Docker management tasks are included with this automating the creation of container images by using the Docker file on Windows OS, and managing the containers by using the Docker, and using the Docker run command to run the containers. Now what is Docker Hub? Docker Hub is a hub where we have lots of different images, pre-built images of containers, from where we can download the containers images through the Docker Hub, through the Docker software, Docker toolset, and we can configure it in our Windows environment. We can use them to, we can download them, we can use them in our Windows and run the applications from there. Now this is the Docker Hub. So here you can get a different type of pre-built Docker images, container images. Now for that, first you have to create an account here. Now that account you will use to log into your Windows server, so that you can download you can browse the Docker Hub here, and you can download the images from here also. You can explore here also. Right now we are not signing, but we have to sign in to download or explore it also. So this is the hub where we can browse the containers. We have these different containers here, and you can see it is based on the application. Like this is for the Oracle Web Logic Server. This is the container of the Linux. This is the architecture, application framework. You will get application infrastructure for that. You will get here, this is the Oracle Java 8 SE, which is on Linux programming languages. Now we can see, we can filter it also. We can see it by the categories also here. Like for example, we want to see the base images, so it will show only the base images. Like for example, this is for the Ubuntu. It gives the Ubuntu Debian based Linux operating system based on the free software. So it will give you the Ubuntu, BusyBox, CentOS, Debian, Amazon Linux, Bash, Java. So these are the base images we have. We want to see the operating system based images, so we can click on it to see the operating system based images. These are the operating system based images. We have Fedora, we have Oracle, Linux, Swift, ROS, OpenSUSE, we have Fortran. These are all operating systems. I just only want to see the operating system. So these are only operating systems. Then we have option to see operating system of Linux or Windows. So if suppose I want to see only Windows, I will click on it. Now it will show me only Windows here. Windows base images. No result. Okay. So these are Windows. You can see this will work for both Windows or Linux both. Python, Docker, Hello World. Hello World is just an example of minimized Dockerization. This is just an example here. This is to just check that whether your Docker container is working or not. So we have these different containers here. So this is what we are doing. We are just exploring it. This is for the Microsoft .NET services. It gives you the official images for .NET Core and ASP.NET Core for Linux and Windows Nano Server. For the Nano Server deployment, so if you deploy that container on Nano Server, then you can use this Microsoft.NET. This is for the Windows Server container. So just like this, we have all these. Now suppose if you want to download something, like for example, I click on this. So it shows the detailed information about this, that what it is and what it is, that description and all that. Now here what it is saying here, get more out of Docker with a free Docker ID. First you have to sign up with the free ID. You have to make an account here. We can see the review, we can see the resources, and it will also show us that how we can download the Dockers. So for that, we have to first use or create the free account here. So this is the Docker Hub we have. This is Docker Hub. Then Docker with the Azure. Now Azure is Microsoft's cloud services. Cloud services where we can have the applications on cloud which we can use from anywhere in the world. So Microsoft provides different applications through the Azure services. Now we can do what? We can use the Docker app to make the containers, and we can run away the containers from anywhere. When we upload this onto the Azure, if suppose we use this container from the Azure, if we upload a container on the Azure, then what? We can use the container from anywhere in the world. So Azure is a service of Microsoft cloud services which we can use to have services anywhere in the world. So Azure gives Microsoft Azure gives different services like customer data center, service provider. Microsoft Azure is there. So we can upload these containers which is created by the Docker. We can upload them onto the Azure cloud, and then we can use it from anywhere. We can run it from anywhere. Now the deploying Hyper-V containers by using the Docker. So now you see how we can deploy the containers and using the Docker. Now first we have to update the PowerShell gallery. PowerShell gallery so that we can run some commands. Then first we install the Docker container. So Docker container, then we can see the images, view the base images, we can view the simple images from the Docker Hub also. Then we can download the pre-built Microsoft Core server or other images from Docker Hub, and then we can deploy the new container with the pre-built image. So when we get the pre-built image, so we can make the new container out of it, and we can manage the container through the Docker. So first we have to do what? We have to first update the PowerShell gallery now. And for that we have to run these commands. So for updating the PowerShell gallery, first we have to run these commands. First command is to set some variables, and the second command is to register the default variables, repository, and then set the repository PS gallery with this, and then we try to see whether the gallery is trusted or not. So we have to run this command first to update the gallery. Okay, so container feature we have already installed, Hyper-V role is already there. So first we will create the virtual switch from this virtual switch manager, because the containers which we use, they are going to use these virtual switches to connect for the connections. So either external, internal, private, depend on our network requirement, we can create the virtual switches here. So I will create this. So it is created because the containers are going to use these virtual switches. So I will create this now, and then we'll go on to update the library. Now next is we have to update the PowerShell library so that we can go and install the kernel. We can go and install the Docker and container. I will run the PowerShell as an administrator, and I will try to update PowerShell gallery. So I will start the PowerShell as an administrator. Now we must connect it to the internet. So the internet connection must be there, so that it is going to download everything from the internet. So we need the internet connection, and internet connection must be there. So first I will use this to set some variables, and then I will try to update the gallery. So register the repository first as a default. It says yes, so I will say yes. It is saying that it is going to get the NU get provider. It is required to continue this, so you say okay, yes, I want, and it is now installing it. It will take a little time, and it is going to download it from internet. So that is why we need an internet connection there. It is giving error here. It is actually saying the repository PS Gallery exists. It is already exist, so it does not need to be installed. We can check get uh, we can check by the get PS repository command, and it says that PS Gallery is there and it is now untrusted. It is not trusted, so we just have to make it trusted now. For that, we will run this command: set PS repository name PS Gallery, and the policy is to be trusted. So we'll select this, and now what it will do, it will make it trusted. Now it is done. Now when I try again to check get the PS repository, so it says now this is trusted. So previously it was saying it is untrusted, now it is saying this is trusted. So now we have updated the PowerShell gallery. Now the next step, we have updated the PowerShell gallery. Now next we will do what, to install the container, Docker container. So we will install the Docker container by using the command install module docker msft provider. This will install the Docker command modules for PowerShell. Then we will install the Docker itself by using this Docker msft provider, and then we will start the Docker service. So we are going to install the first Docker msft provider module, and remember you need internet connection for these all, and it is going to take a little time. It is installing these packages. Now the installation is done. Now what next we'll do, install the Docker itself. So I will run this command to install the package Docker from this Docker msft provider. Now remember this also, we need internet because it is going to download it from internet, the Docker software itself. And done. We can see now the Docker is there. This is the version of this. This is the Docker default. Source is the Docker default, and it is the it contains the Docker EE for use with Windows Server. So we have now installed the Docker, and now we can check and we can use the Docker. Let's say for example the Docker command, if I use to check the Docker version, it shows this, but it is showing some error here because the service is not running. Docker service is not running. So what I will do, I will start the service, start service Docker. Now the Docker service is running. Now when you check the Docker version, it shows that this is the Docker version we have. It shows this is the client Mariant container runtime version, this API version, Go version, Git commit, build OS architecture is this, context experimental true. So this is the base of the kernel, base of the Docker. This is the server variant, this is the server, this is the client, and this is the server engine. So this is what we have installed the Docker now, and the service is also running. We can check now the Docker images also. Right now we don't have any base images. So if we have any base images, then we can create the container based on that base images. but right now we don't have any base images. So what we can do, we can search it. Let's say I want to search Microsoft. Now it is searching the Docker Hub for it. It is searching the online Docker Hub for these images, and you see Microsoft for .NET, Microsoft for SQL Server Linux, Microsoft for ASP.NET, Microsoft for Windows Server Core, Microsoft for Nano Server, or Microsoft for IIS. So these are all, we have these different images, Docker images, base images for the Docker. Now if we want, then we can download some of this image. So we have installed the Docker start data service. This command is to check the container feature, is it installed or not. So we have already installed it, and if we have not installed, then install and restart the server because it needs the restart. Then after that, what we did, we checked the Docker version, we checked the images, Docker images, there is no images, so we can search the Docker images. So we search the Docker images like for Microsoft and any other. So we search, so it shows the Docker images from the Docker Hub. Now we need to sign in for it to download the images from it, or we can download it by using this command docker pull. Then we mention the image which we want to download. This is for the test container options, like this is the optional which is only for the testing, that is hello world. Hello world is only for the testing. Now if you want to use it for something like for configuring the IIS or something, so you can use this Microsoft Core server or Microsoft Nano server. You can use the Docker base image for container base image for the Nano server IIS. So you can pull this. For pulling the image, we need this docker pull command. Now first we have to log in. So for logging in, we have to create an account on this Docker Hub. So as we see on this Docker Hub, it is saying that to get more you have to sign up first. So you have to sign up for it, and then we can use this, and we can pull the base images from here. Now for signing up, you need a Docker ID, email address and password. Now if you have already an ID, then you can sign in. So first we will sign up here, and then we can pull. So now I logged in with my account here. So now I can pull these images. I can pull these images from here. I can see this, and it will show me that how I can pull this also. Like for example, if I select some, I say I want hello world. So it shows me here that this is the thing, and this is the detailed information about it. These are the tags, latest tag, then how you can pull it. So you can pull it by running this command docker pull and the hello world. You can name this, and it is going to pull. So now we are logged in here. Now we can use this to pull the images from the Docker. Now for that, what I will do, now to pull these images, what I have to do, I have to log in here also. So for logging, I will use the docker command, and I will say docker login. Now it is asking you login with your Docker ID. So it is asking you for the Docker ID. So Docker ID is this, the password. Now the login is successful, and now we are ready to pull these images. So whatever the image we want, we can pull it. Let's say I want to get Docker for Nano server. So I have these images. So I just want to pull this nano server IIS. So I will give this, I will pull this by using the docker command, docker pull nano server IIS. This is the nano server image for the IIS services, that is Internet Information Services, and that is for the web services. Now it is going to download, and this is the size of this image container, base image. So it is going to take a time depending on your internet connection. It is still downloading. Now it is extracting. Actually it is downloaded. Now it is extracting those files. So download is now complete and it is extracted and it is now available. So download the new image, newer image for this nano server with the latest tag, and make sure that your Windows server itself is updated with the latest version. So your Windows server must be your host server, where you are installing when you are creating the containers. It must be updated with the latest update, because when we download this nano server or these images, they are coming with the latest tag. So if it is not updated, our server is not updated, then it will give error. So it is downloaded now, and now we want to check. So we can give command docker images to see the images. And this is the image we have downloaded now. Nano server for IIS, that is for Internet Information Services, that means it is for the web services. This is the latest one. Image ID, this is created 3 years ago, and this is the size of this base image. Now we want to use this. Now we want to use this, and we want to start the container, and we see how we can use this. So for running the container, we will run command docker run with -it option. Then our image, name of the container image, that is nano server /IIS, and what we want is the CMD. We want the CMD of this container, command prompt. So when the container will run, it will give us the CMD command prompt. And now you can see this is the CMD of that container image. We can see first we should see the IP address. What is the IP address of this container? So it is getting this IP address, 172.24.239.35. Now where this IP address is coming? So it is coming from the Hyper-V virtual switch manager. This is the NAT switch which is created for the Docker. It is automatically created when we configure the Docker. It creates this switch. We can, if you want, then you can create it manually also. You go to the Hyper-V manager. I will show you the switch. It is created automatically. So when you go to the switch manager, we can see this switch here. This switch is a NATing switch. It is created for the NAT. So this switch is created for the NAT. Now NATing means what? It is connecting private IP address to the public IP address. So this is the virtual interface which is created, and it is created for the NATing. It is internal, default it is internal, and it is doing the NATing. And NATing, when we see the IP address of that interface, this is the interface which is created. This is the one, HNS, internal NIC. So when you check the status, so it is the same range IP address. You can see this is the same range IP, 172.24.224.1. So this is the same range which is the container. The container is getting the IP. So container is getting the IP from this virtual interface, automatically it is getting it from DHCP by this netting, this virtual interface. So this is our container's IP address. Now we want to test that the web server of this container is running or not. So I will go to the browser and I will use the IP address of that container. So the container's IP address is this, and I will try to use that IP address here in the browser, and we can see the web server default page here. This is the default page for the web server. So this web server is actually coming from the container. The container which we have started, that is what the base image is, a nano server image, and that nano server is with IIS services. Now if we want to add our pages, then we can add it here under this directory, inetpub. This inetpub is the default directory for the web servers. So if you check that directory, so under the directory you have this web root directory, www root directory. So under this directory we can add the files, the files for our web services. So whatever our web servers are there, we want to run them, so we can add the file here into this default root directory, and that will be executed by the container web server. What I will do, I will add one home page file. For that I will go to PowerShell of the container. I'm trying to start the PowerShell for the container. Now we are under the PowerShell of the container. Now what I will add a file here into this web root directory, and that file will be the home page file. So after when I create the home page file, this default page will not come. Okay, so what I did here, I'm adding the content. So this PowerShell command is used to add the content, and I'm adding the content under the C inetpub www root directory, and I'm adding this file index.html. This is the default home page file for the web servers of IIS. So the file name must be index and .html the extension. Now in that file I'm going to write this. This is my site. This is just a test. So for testing I'm writing this, but we should add our home page file there into it. So the file will come, and all the other files related to our web services, web application will be uploaded into, or we loaded into this directory, so that the web server will start working. But I'm just adding the home page file for just checking it. Now the file is added there. Now what I will go here in the browser and try to refresh this. Now we can see here it is saying this is my site. So this is what I have added into that file. So there is a home page file which is containing these lines. So it is showing these lines now. Now that means our web server under the container is running, and the container is hosting this website, web pages. Now I will exit from this PowerShell and the CMD also. Now I am back to my machine. I will check Docker with ps command -psa. Now it shows the process of container which is running. Docker ps-a. This command shows the container image which is right now running. So you can see it is this container ID. This is the nano server IIS, and the command was running CMD. It was 8 minutes ago, and now it is exited. So 15 seconds ago it was exited. Then we can go for docker qa psqa. It shows the id, this container id of that running container. So it shows only the container id which is running. Now that container id we can use to stop the container or remove the container. For example, I want to stop it. So I will give command docker stop, and instead I can just give the container ID, or I can get the container ID by using the command docker ps hyphen qa. With this command I can get the container ID. So for container ID, I can just copy the container ID from here and paste it here, or I can use docker hyphen psqa command to get the container ID and stop it. Okay, my command was wrong. This is not hyphen here, ps then hyphen qa. And now the container is stopped. And now if I check qa, so it is showing that the last command. And if I check qa to get the container running ID, this is the running ID. Now it is not running. If I go here and see, the web page is not showing here because the container is not running now. We have stopped the container. Now what? I can remove the container, and for that I will run command docker rm to remove the container. And to get the container ID, I will run docker ps hyphen qa. So this is remove the container. Now we have the base image still there. We just remove the container. Base image is already there. The container which we started from this base image is now removed. So this is how we can manage and run the container through the Docker. So containers are the small operating system virtualization where we can run the specific application for testing, development, or many other things. So it's the very smallest thing, or we can say very smallest way of running isolated applications. Either we can use the virtual machine, the whole virtual machine, or we can just use the container. So for like this, we can run multiple containers in a single system. And Docker is used to manage the containers.